Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of not Hong Kong, fuck. Fuckity fuck fuck fuck. Fuckity fuckity mac fuck fuck fuck. Okay. Welcome to another exciting installment of Madness in London, multi-venue edition. What could possibly go wrong? This evening's scene is set as the sun slips over the horizon in London town. Hyde Park is one of the largest parks at the centre of the city, a place where everyone would go to congregate to simply be around nature amid the vast concrete jungle. We will join our nightly wanderers as they enter this lush, verdant place of quiet solitude and sanctuary. And I assume the easiest way to do this will just be to go down my list of people. So Bellic will be the first to enter the park.
Bellic is probably taking Kadoshi for a walk and admiring the scenery at this point. He's still really new to the area and is just kind of impressed.
As Bellic makes his way deeper into the park with his dog, no doubt a giant mass of boundless energy on the concept of walk, 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 yes, walk. You will notice there are two large lakes in Hyde Park, beside one of which you notice a rather peculiar sight. They're tucked in in a clump of trees near the water. You see a rather large, and when I say rather large, I mean probably about 25 foot by about 10 to 15 foot, red silk pavilion tent that looks completely, totally, and utterly out of place. You see the embroidered silk, and you can even smell the spices on the wind. It is completely out of the ordinary, but yet everyone else is walking by it as if it wasn't there.
Bellic will make his way toward the tent.
Question, your dog is your familiar, yes?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. What could possibly go? Ah, my face! Anyway. Next, we will go to whichever one, we will go to either Tiger or Kim, whoever wishes to go first.
Alright, I guess Nathan will be taking a walk around. He's trying to get used to the whole new city thing. And he's just walking around, he sees the tent. And dog. He gets very excited. His Bellic's made it up, and so has his dog. Walking in that direction.
Okay. Is Arbane going to be with Nathan, or are they going to go They're going to go separately?
Joey just went BRB, so I'm going to assume separate. Oh, there he is. Awesome. Perfect timing.
Timing is good, yeah. Okay. Are you joining us, Kim, or are you not?
Yeah, I am. I'm just waiting for Joey to give his answer for the.
He did. He said it's gonna be okay.
Okay. So I guess Lily's gonna be wandering around the park. This is tent. Of course, she's curious.
Okay.
Not like she doesn't have something to talk about or anything, like a lich in the city stealing the body of Odin. We'll get to that.
Okay. As both Bellic and Lily walk about 20 feet from the tent, they will notice. Do both of you or either of you have correspondence as a sphere?
No.
No.
Okay. You will feel something like you are crossing some kind of barrier, but you won't know what it is because You're not intimately familiar with warding magic, but it won't stop you. You will feel it like a cool ripple, like water, like falling rain on your skin. The tent itself is open, and interestingly enough, you see a kind of you see purple smoke, kind of coming from inside of it. As a matter of fact, as his wards have been tripped, Ishar will stand from where he is sitting, smoking a hookah, and will make his way outside before saying, "Ah, company."
Do you extend your hospitality?
Of course. Please be welcome neath my roof. Take of my wine, take of my bread, my guests.
You missed out on a good part earlier. I have to tell you something.
He will smile and he will say, "It is a pleasure to see you again, miss. Would you care to have a drink, perhaps?"
No, thank you. I never partake of any offerings that people offer, if that makes sense.
He'll blink and he'll say, "How interesting. You offer offerings and yet take none yourself."
It's a personal thing.
We all have quirks. And you, sir, I don't know your face. He will say to Nathan as he walks up and offers a deep bow.
He'll say, yeah, not a whole lot of people do, to be honest.
Well, please. As I have said, if you are able to see my humble home and cross my threshold, that means you are special, and so my guests. Please step inside, step inside.
Nathan's gonna mumble a comment under his breath of "my mom thinks I'm special" as he walks inside.
Yes. Inside, you will see a very lavishly appointed tent, straight out of the Arabian Nights. So huge cushions for sitting, a long table upon which is adorned with golden plates and hookah pipes, or a single large hookah at the end that has a number of nozzles so that each person may partake. Ishar himself will plump up the cushions and get a jug or get a silver jug filled with wine and say, "Would you care to sit, please? You are my guests. We take hospitality very seriously where I'm from."
I will sit.
Nathan will sit down too.
Urbane will sit as well. Or not Urbane, I should say Alex. He's kind of just looking around at everything. He's not really said anything since he came in with Nathan.
He will offer Bellic a drink he will offer, because Bellic was the first one to step through the threshold, he will be the first one to be offered a cup of wine.
Thank you. Bellic will take the wine.
He will then turn and offer Nathan a cup of wine.
Nathan will take the wine.
Okay. He will pour a cup and give it to Nathan. He will offer Arbane a cup of wine.
Yep, he'll take it.
He will smile as he sits and he says, "I have not forgotten that you do not partake, so I will not insult you by making the offer in Chani."
Thank you.
He will sit in his cushion and he will extend his hand. "If any of you care to partake in the shisha, it is most excellent." As he takes a deep draw in. Oh, sorry, continue, Tiger.
Nathan will take a draw in as well. Like, shit, that is pretty good.
As you exhale, your breath is purple. The smoke is purple.
Oh, nice. He does not look surprised by that.
Ishar will smile as he sits and he will say, My people, as I say, has a very common saying amongst us, which is that guests are a miracle sent by heaven, provided that they leave the next day, he says with a smile.
Well,
So,
I wanna open
So,
anything.
Is Nathan going to start getting up to leave or something?
No, he's just gonna continue drinking the wine. Just wasn't really expecting that.
as I am your host, allow me to please give my own introduction. My name is Aishar Nadhal Naldrona. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Anyone who
Very
wants? Anyone else want to say what their name is? Huh?
Okay, Lilith will be like, yeah, I'm Lilith. This is my first AA meeting. I bake cupcakes. She's obviously joking.
And from what I'm led to understand, they are rather delightful.
They are.
And you, sir, he will say, looking at Bellic, what is your name? You strike me as a man who bears himself with pride and says few words but means much in what he says.
I'm sorry, what was that?
He says, and you, my friend, what is your name? You strike me as a man who says little but means every word that he says.
Bella
What
kind
I'm
of looks at me. I'm sorry.
Are you actually I was going to say, Mitchell, are you actually having trouble hearing us? Are we breaking up? What's the...
I'm having technical difficulties. It's you guys are breaking up a little bit. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out who you were talking to.
I was talking to you.
Bellic will kind of chuckle and say, and you strike me as a man who has good taste in alcohol. I'm Bellic. Bellic Tiva. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It is very good to meet you as well, Bellic. Why is it that I think that we are both wanderers on a road, and even though we have not met at any other crossroads, it was fated that we meet at this?
I would say it is either because of your very noticeable lodgings or because you're drunk.
He smiles very, very widely, that he says, very good. And you, sir, you are not... He blinks and looks at Nathan. You are special, but you are not like us. I enjoy people who have an interesting story to tell.
Nathan will blink for a second and be like, I have a few, but I'm not exactly sure how many I can tell you.
Well, I'm a man who enjoys a good story. So, but you should only tell me what it is you feel that you can tell in chatting.
Still think again. Yeah, honestly, I can't think of anything that I can.
It is entirely fine when strangers must share a fireside, even in the midst of battle, where one side must know that if he knew the name of the other, he would surely be his enemy. However, that is one thing you can tell me, nameless sir. Are you my enemy or my friend?
That remains to be seen.
An excellent answer. He'll look at Arbane and he'll say, "Are you much the same, sir? Unable to answer the questions as to who, what, where, or how, but merely that you are a walker upon the road, and at this current moment enjoying excellent wine and at least passable company."
He nods. That would be a most accurate statement.
Well, unfortunately, I am the only one here to greet you. My fellows are all elsewhere. But regardless on if you are friend or foe, this evening we share drinks together, which means that as of this evening, at least until, as I say, the sun rises, you are my guests. And guests are always friends.
Then let there be peace and much wine.
Weird question. Does Bellic have his spirit side up?
Not currently, no.
Okay, let me know if you decide to put it on.
Okay.
Also, by the way, for everyone, the Alex has bright golden eyes. Like his irises are bright gold. Since I have a flaw that I need to mention.
Have you tried contact? She'll say to Arbane. Lily will say, "Have you tried contacts?"
No, I'm not much for fleeting associations. I prefer long-term friendships, personally.
Sip from his wine.
I mean, for the magic markings. She'll gesture towards her eyes. Oh,
Bellic is now curious.
Alex is just sipping his wine placidly. He's not really like saying anything.
I will point out, holy shit, these cushions are comfy.
no, her eyes are normal. I was looking at the thing for reasons.
Well, my friends, if nothing else, I can tell you that you are categorically not Jinn, so you are not mischievous spirits. And that is always a good start.
Irving kind of just gives Nathan a look like, well.
Yeah, and he was just kind of back like.
Like, I imagine it's like just sipping our wine quietly, not saying anything.
So what did he say? I missed it.
You're not Jinn, so you're not mischievous spirits. To Nathan and Arbane.
Well,
By the way, Bellic, what was that roll for?
Two purposes. One, for the purpose of attempting to learn the dice roller, and two, to attempt to use Spirit One to read Alex's aura. Which I should have mentioned when I made the roll, but again, I was trying to test the rolling system primarily.
So you got one success, which is enough for a very a brief flash. You get about 1 second you see his aura, one you don't.
Okay.
I'll let how Arbane's aura look in that 1 second.
It's got like rainbow color, like pulsing throughout it. I don't remember a lot of the colors, but it's basically it translates to calm He's just very calm right now, like emotionally.
Okay. Bellic will dip his ring finger into his cup of wine and find a spot where it's not going to hit anyone and flick it upwards once, out once, and toward the floor once.
Ah, you make offerings.
It is only polite. One can never be too cautious.
That's fair.
It is also pleasant to see someone who understands the purpose of gestures.
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
Clearly. He will look at Ishar looks at Bellic and smiles, and he says, I see you make offerings to the spirits. It is good. They always remember.
One can never be too cautious. It is also pleasant to meet someone who understands the purpose behind common gestures.
He'll nod and he'll say, I think the problem is that the world advances so far forward that humanity forgets what it is sometimes to look back. So, I do beg your pardon, Miss Lily, but you said that you had something to tell me that was unrelated to pleasantries.
Joe, whisper in his ear. So, unless you have heightened senses, you're not really gonna hear it. That the man that stole the god was a lich.
Interesting. He will whisper back because he's not. Lich is a very, very Western term, so he probably won't. He might connect the dots mentally, but he'll say, "Someone, one of us who as yet walks in a dead body." Correct?
Sure enough.
Ah, how interesting. That will make for a very entertaining story.
Yeah. After you left, it's just me, so I have no intention of by myself, at least.
He'll nod and he'll say, I have no doubt that our friend who drew the little circle believed that what he was doing was containing something that was filled with malice. He may indeed have been correct in that assessment. However, ultimately, if the circle had not itself been broken, I have no doubt that when our friend broke the circle, he would have dealt with our friend who made it far harsher than he would have been if there had just been a minor inconvenience. So I'm glad that no one was slain due to their stupid actions. Myself included.
That's fair. And she'll, like, in a normal voice and sit back.
Ishar lifts his wine cup to his lips, and he will say, If I may, new friends and old, if I may propose a toast, simply, he contemplates for a moment, to walking the path and the crossroads where friends meet, even if they do not know each other's names.
I can raise it up.
We'll an imaginary cup.
Yep. Arbane will raise his, or Alex, I should say, will raise his cup as well.
Bellic enjoys toasts, so he will join as well.
He will wipe his mouth with a silk cloth, and he will say, "In my homeland, if you will indulge, when your host, in the form of myself, makes a toast, it is tradition that somebody else follow it with another toast, whatever they feel is appropriate or moving in the moment. Would somebody else care to make a second toast?"
Hawks, may their gears never erode away.
Are you talking about Big Ben?
I'm like a roll.
That's
Well, it's something to drink to, and as we also say in my homeland, whenever you have something to drink to, it's never exactly a bad idea.
So Nathan, whenever she mentions Big Ben, Nathan's hand will shake for like a half second before stilling itself.
Does reference to the clock upset you, Ninchadi?
Like, what they're doing to that clock is awful.
What, fixing
The
it?
thing with clock. Not fixing it fast enough.
I mean, they're only humans. What do you expect?
Should get that thing fixed in a year if I'm going slow by myself.
Out of character, because it was actually in a British newspaper the day before yesterday, and I was going to save the newspaper, but unfortunately it was thrown out. I was going to read it to Tiger, because Nathan can have a freak out over this. Apparently the British government voted down, I think it was a £10 million grant to fix and restore Big Ben. It's because they're currently fixing it, but they basically went with the lowest estimate that they approved the day before yesterday. So they've literally gotten the lowest estimate to fix it, which is why it's going to take so long. So Nathan can be very mad.
He's incredibly mad.
He feels angry ways. But yes. Come. By the way, Bellic might be able to sense what Ishar does next. He takes his pitcher of wine and he pours some of it. He pours about a glass worth of wine into a silver bowl in front of him. And Tiger, I'm going to use a spirit and prime effect in order to change some of my prime into more palatable. In order to change some of my prime into gnosis, and I'm going to infuse the wine with the gnosis.
Okay.
So,
And as he does so, he will say in Arabic under his breath, "And so it was that the bountiful harvest fed all 'neath heaven." He'll make his roll. The time I forgot to write with willpower and I botch.
All right.
Can you botch magic in your own sanctum? I don't actually know if you can.
Yes.
Oh wow.
You can. Just because it is coincidental does not mean you can't botch. You still get the paradox.
Oh.
So.
Hey Nathan, hey Tiger. Can I have my paradox backlash now, please?
Let's see. I make sure I'm correct when I say you want to get to.
go to the that you're using.
Yeah, but watching.
I was just trying to feed the spirits.
Okay, so yeah, you gain 2 paradox.
Yep. Which knocks him to the 5, which means he backlashes.
So I'll roll that.
Cool. I've been playing this character one day and he already gets paradox backlash.
Then you're tough tying, right?
Yeah, fair.
2 bashing, and so you still have 3 paradox in your system.
Awesome. 2 bashing. So, as he does this, probably a single, drop of blood's going to run down his nose as he flicks his head to the side. Do I get a paradox flaw or do I not?
No.
Excellent. He'll say, apparently the spirits are not in the mood to be receiving this afternoon. He'll lift his silk handkerchief up to wipe the blood off. Sorry, continue, Tiger.
Nathan was like, I was about to say Nathan. Chiff.
Nathan, what, sorry?
And the handkerchief. But you got it already.
He will smile and thank him for the offer, and he will say, as I've said, this place is strange. Where I come from, my people can do as they wish in the world. Literally. They weave such wonders as could make the world itself cry because the people there believe we can. And this place is different.
Did you just get it shut in non-system? No reality.
Is that in character?
Belief is very interesting. It is
Yes.
beneficial to a point, but many are blinded by it.
He'll smile and he'll say, I have often thought of how wonderful a world would be where the human mind could exist side by side with the wonderment that is the world, where it is not impossible to lay your hands upon a dying child and ease their suffering or bring them back from the brink of death without the fear of what would happen, without the fingers that would be pointed, and without, well, the universe itself and the calamity thereof. Would it not be a better world?
It would be an interesting world. Better is subjective.
Because obviously he doesn't know they're changelings, he'll smile and he'll say, the problem is that humanity has forgotten how to dream.
You into that?
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll manipulation subterfuge to hide the fact that Nathan is smile. Unfortunately, I get a -1, which means I'm rolling manipulation.
Does your House Dougal flaw not give you -2 now? Oh no, it's every 2, isn't it? Yeah.
I got a success.
Rogue perception and empathy.
I only have 2 manipulation, 0 subterfuge. So
I see you laughing. I see you laughing over there.
Nice. Oh, I got. Here, did you know?
got no successes.
Okay.
Nathan manages to pull Lily, but not so much
He'll smile and he'll say, "You find something funny, nameless friend?"
Funny because true and also kind of sad.
I beg your pardon?
True and also sad.
He'll nod. Indeed. There were times when the impossible was possible because man believed it was. But those days are gone. Dust on the wind.
Bellic begins to hum.
Is it pleasant humming?
It's acceptable.
Is he humming dust on the wind?
He is. He is indeed.
Hannah will begin to wander into this clearing of tents. Am I correct? That's where this is.
You see one very large tent. I will point out there are smaller tents behind it, but you can't really see it from the angle.
Okay. And I see like strange purple smoke coming out of it.
Yep.
The lights around her will be a little bit dimmer, and whatever wards you have probably been set off as she seems to step close and nearby.
Ishar will rise from his table and he will bow and he will say, "If you will excuse me, Inchani, I must go and greet another guest." For the record, if any of you ever Google it, because I've no doubt you will, Ichani literally is an old Persian word that just literally translates as friend. But he will walk out and he will see the young lady he met earlier, at which point he will say, "Welcome to my humble home, Inchani."
Ah, good to see you. And she kind of looks to you. I think I've seen you before. You seem familiar.
He'll smile and he'll say, "We all walk a path, Inchani. Yours and mine has indeed crossed at least once."
You seem to bear quite the clarity. And she smiles.
He contemplates that statement and he says, "Sometimes we are born to this world. Sometimes we are born to others. Oftentimes, when you look at the world through a different lens, it gives you clarity."
Definitely.
Would you care to step inside and perhaps have a cup of wine with us?
She kind of has a... she seems to contemplate it for a moment and says, I shall. Thank you.
He will open the tent flap so that she can kind of mooch her way in.
So Hannah kind of ducks under the tent flap. As you guys look at her, you see a girl with... immediately when she enters the room, any of the lights, they kind of dim slightly. Or a good chunk. She has very dark clothing on, black jacket, baggy black pants with these running shoes. She has a messenger bag over her hip with her hands in her jacket pockets. And she also has hair, but when the light black hair, but when the light shines on her hair, you can tell there's a little bit of a blue hue to it. Is there a node nearby?
No, not in here.
Okay, so don't worry about it then. And she'll kind of nod at the others.
I am a living node. Sorry, continue.
This is true. Just say, hi there.
Okay, so to describe the room, everyone is seated at a large round table on very large seated cushions, in the center of which there is a large hookah with a number of different mouth... What do you call the thing you smoke on a hookah? Is it just called a mouthpiece or does it have a name?
I've smoked hookahs before, but I don't remember the name because I think there is one. I think it's just a mouthpiece for now.
It's got about 6 or so of those. The floor, if you actually look down, you'll notice that it is entirely done in a series of carpets that have been put down. that have Persian rugs that are very very soft to the touch. In one corner of the room, there is a series of shelves that contain a number of scrolls that have been wound up and bound with twine. And yes, everyone is seated around quite comfortably. Ishar will denote a pillow for Hannah to sit on, and will offer her a silver cup filled with wine.
And she'll have a seat, and she'll, appreciate that and say, "Thank you very much." And she'll kind of hold the glass of wine in her hand and kind of examine it.
You will notice that I assume Nathan is still smoking the hookah because Ishar stood up. The smoke that he breathes out is the source of the purple smoke. For the record, Nathan, the tobacco you're smoking is cherry flavored.
Well, I've had cherry flavored hookah. It's really good.
The only one better is apple.
I haven't tried apple yet.
Apple is good.
Apple is good.
But we don't usually have it around here because my friend is has issues with Apple. Sorry, I'll stop.
So what? They're a Microsoft through and through. Phrasing made that possible. Ishar will take his seat again, and he will say, "But yes, we all walk different and divergent paths, and that is the nature of the world. It makes it glorious and terrible. But I am pleased that this evening brings you all to my door. I intend to stay here at least for the time being. You must all consider yourselves welcome should you ever wish to come again."
I merely came because it existed. It's very pleasant to see.
He'll smile and he'll say, "Ah, yes, I have it so that only people of exceptional abilities, exceptional people, in fact, are able to see my home for what it is or have any interest in it whatsoever. Had you not been you, Mr. Bellick, you would have simply walked by the door and not cared that it was there, even if it was a fire."
Thank you for the hospitality.
As I have said, in my homeland, hospitality is a sacred deed. For after all, if someone comes to you in your tent at night and begs for water, if you do not give it to them, they will be dead by the morning.
Very true. And where is it that you do come from?
He blinks, and he says, "I was born in what you would consider to be the United Arab Emirates, though I spent much of my childhood wandering around the southern half of the Saudi Arabian peninsula. So I grew up in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, the south of Egypt, etc. Jordan. That place in the world."
You definitely sounds like you've definitely had quite the path behind you that you've trailed. Hang on, let me just reorganize my words. Adam's weird right now. Seems like you've blazed quite the trail.
My people believe in the wandering of the road, the weaving of the story, the inner fire that is the light of all things. We do rather like the concept of seeing everything that there is to see. So that is why I'm here.
This stage, you get really along well with the issue.
Yeah. To say, I think I know a couple guys to get along with.
He'll smile. "Oh, and who might that be?"
I like stories. I like wandering as well.
I shall look forward to meeting them at some point. But yes, as I said, you are all to consider this place safe. For you are my friends, at least while you are under this roof, and as long as you do not defile the hospitality of this roof.
Sounds very fair to me.
Good. Good, wonderful, Inchani. Enchiutichan. So, this mysterious stranger, he denotes Nathan, rather enjoys clocks, but that is all I know of him.
Clocks?
This lovely young lady bakes cupcakes, and that is her story so far. And this man, he denotes Bellic, honors the spirits in a way I find most pleasing and have not seen in a very long time. Sorry, continue, Tiger.
I was gonna say, yeah, I make and sell clocks.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
And she'll give a nod towards Bellic. It's good to meet you.
What is there to do around here?
What is it that you are looking to do, Mr. Bellic?
I'm looking to make friends.
He contemplates. There is a rather charming little occult shop that we visited earlier today, where I'm led to understand that some suitably interesting people congregate. I would be more than happy to give you the address.
Ah, I remember. Now that's where I last saw you. Yes, it seems to attract quite the interesting folks.
He'll nod.
In my experience, gatherings of occult items tend to do so.
Would you care for the address in that case, Mr. Bellic?
Please.
He will write it down on a piece of paper.
Bellic will take the piece of paper and put it in his pocket.
I'm just going to go get a drink. I'll be back in a sec.
Don't worry about it.
Nathan's gonna put down the hose that he's been pulling from. Just kind of reach over Buck's head. See, looks like a friendly dog.
What was that last bit?
He's just scratching the dog behind on his head because the dog looks like a friendly dog.
Oh, the dog is a friendly dog.
She'll look to Bellic. Your friend?
The large fuzzy one.
Yes.
Yes, quite. Kedarshi
Definitely.
is very, very enamored of people.
Definitely seems like a good friend then. I'm still trying to awaken my own. It'll take some time.
Kedarshi came to me as part of my calling down this path. The baby steps, one would say.
Best to take those along treacherous paths like these.
When one step wrong can lead to your destruction, you had more than likely better step slowly.
Take your time, as they say. Well, when you can take it.
I left many things behind to come here, but this dog is one I could not part with.
What breed is the dog, by the way?
The dog is a Caucasian Shepherd.
Is he a big dog? He is in fact.
Oh, they're big. Yeah, they're big. Average weight is 110 pounds or all the way up to 198. They're huge.
Holy crap!
Yeah, they're not small dogs.
I'll put in a picture in the chat. They're big fluffy puddles.
That was Evan.
Okay.
That was it.
It's so fluffy.
They're
That's how
super-
big they can get. Oh my god, they're huge.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to mount it and ride it into battle.
My
That's
favorite
okay.
image is one of it. Like there's a. Let me just paste it.
Cool. Oh, isn't he? He's a very sweet one. She'll kind of smile and say as she looks at the dog. Or that one. Jesus. I don't want to see that.
That one's my favorite picture of that breed.
It's huge.
Like to see a red talon fuck with that.
No. Let's be fair. It's the red talons. I like to see a red talon. Fuck that.
Wow.
Oh,
Moving on.
so we went there. Okay, cool.
Follow us up.
I don't know, Joey. That dog do ag if it wanted to.
You don't have to take it so seriously, Joey. Okay. Anyway. By the way, you notice when Hannah uses the shisha pipe, it does oddly enough it does seem to like almost vibrate a little bit, which is kind of weird. She sets it down. So how long have you been here, Shad?
He contemplates and he says, about 6 or 7 months now. Myself and my Hashiet decided that London would be a good place to go.
Well, definitely seems to be a very different change of pace. Everything is quite almost normal here. Things were getting quite hectic in Hong Kong.
He'll nod and he'll say, I have never been to Hong Kong, but one would assume. Sorry, what were you saying, Tiger?
I was just typing. I was only typing.
Oh. You were saying, Isha?
He will say that I'm not exactly sure if London is a great change of pace from Hong Kong. I find that all modern cities in their own way are the same. They just wear different masks.
I'm
Perhaps.
100% sure that London is a great change of pace, at least for me, from Hong Kong.
You're from Hong Kong too? She'll look to Nathan.
Yeah.
So you also had to get the heck out from what was happening?
What was happening? You wanna go?
If I remember. I don't know all the details. All I know is we had to leave. The streets were empty. And technocracy seemed to have been everywhere.
At the word technocracy, eyebrow goes up. Beep.
I don't remember much from that time. I remember leaving.
Well, the airships were kind of, I don't know, those were kind of cool.
Yes,
So
several
as-
of them had hard suits in the streets.
As Hong Kong comes up, I kind of start shaking again. I'll after a second, take another drink of wine.
He was going to say, would you care for some more wine, mysterious sir?
Nathan will hold out his cup, like very quickly after he offers.
Hannah will kind of look at Nathan and give a nod of almost apology. And she seems she feels guilty on her face.
So, a lot of shit happened in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
He will hold out the wine, the silver jug, and pour some more wine into the cup. And he will say, my own people have managed to repel no less than 7 technocracy invasions of our homeland, and done so rather well. We've managed to keep our home, but he contemplates for a moment. We have had to learn and adapt to do that. We had to reshape the consensus in our own image. It was difficult.
Definitely does. The subconscious minds of all beings are very difficult to change the minds of.
Yeah. However, fortunately, we have managed to maintain what is ours and push back those who would seek to take it from us. I am rather sorry that it is that you needed to deal with such an imminent and no doubt horrible threat to your lives. The technocracy are literally, how to phrase, contemplate. The existence of science that benefits none save those who sit atop their own pyramid.
I think it depends on what you're using your crafts for.
Honestly, I don't think they were even the worst part.
They probably
Don't get me
weren't.
wrong.
There were other problems there from what I've heard from other colleagues of mine when I was over there.
I see. How terrible.
What was that, Evan?
He said, I see how terrible.
Oh, okay. But other than that, we're here now. Nice change of pace. Find the
Because you-
outskirts of London nice and quiet.
I was about to use that word, very quiet.
I ponder something, Chani. You will say, looking at Hannah. The man who was with you earlier, who spoke to you, what is his name?
Unfortunately, I don't think it is my name to give. So I think you would
See?
have to meet him. But
Oh, I merely wish to say that if he ever, even inadvertently, robs me of my freedom again, I will kill him. And he says that entirely straight-faced.
and then she's like, she has an eyebrow raised. She almost kind of goes, "What did he do?" But almost not surprised, in a sense.
Bellic will put down his wine kind of quietly and reach for a flask of vodka.
Not drunk enough for this shit yet.
He will pour a little bit into his hand, and then he'll wet his fingertips in it, put the flask back, and kind of rub his eyes.
I sense there's a spirit roll coming that I may have to give some weird answers about.
So she'll ask again. I assure you, whatever he did, I don't have any plans on the part of that, as well as his own, and consequences likewise.
I have no doubt. You have been nothing but civil, polite, an ideal guest. Your friend, on the other hand. By the way, for the record, Mitchell, if you're trying to do what I think you're trying to do, the diff is 3, not 5.
Oh. I'm always bad at choosing difficulties.
You're just trying to do Spirit 1, Spirit side, I assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 3.
It would be diff 4 unless
That's what I thought.
because the way it works is it's coincidental is 3 plus the sphere ring.
I found her.
But he's also doing it with his foci, which was the vodka, which would lower it by another -1.
Well, that's only unique or personalized foci.
And or if it's an unnecessary one.
Which he has and is wearing, but is part of a flaw. So I forgot to take that into consideration.
That was still consider it.
Okay. If it's 4 anyway, you still get it. I take it you're looking at me when you do the Spirit side.
No, I'm looking at the corners of the tent.
Oh, thank God. There is... this is a Tiger question. I mean, Ishar is a spirit specialist. He gives lots of treats to spirits, so whatever lives in here is up to Tiger.
It'll mostly be spirits of fire that are sitting in the corners with a mischievous glint in their eye, waiting for treats.
Okay.
Treats.
He will, throughout the course of the scene, slowly scan the rest of the tent. Just because the way that murder was just discussed makes him uncomfortable.
That's
Yeah.
as I said to Tiger, oh shit, I've got both the vengeful and the short-fused flaws. Oh shit.
Hannah will almost seem to go back into she seems to have zoned out for a bit, and she'll almost kind of snap back into the conversation and say, What about murder?
For the record, Bellic, when you do eventually get around to looking at me as an entity, my aura is incredibly odd via normal standards. It doesn't glow it doesn't sparkle or like a mage's aura does. It appears to be made of it's incredibly fiery, it's almost as if it was set on fire, but it also has a near inhuman clarity to it.
Bellic whispers under his breath in a language that I'm not sure many of you would understand, except maybe Ishar. I don't know.
What language is it?
But in Odu, Bellic says, "Brothers of Fire, it is a pleasure to meet you. Please understand that I come as a guest into this home and mean no harm."
Have no fire. But to answer Hannah, he will say, "Your friend, this nameless man, drew a warding circle, or a circle of some ascertained kind, and bound me in it today. I do not like being bound."
And she kind of says under her breath, "Why the fuck would you do that?" She says, She'll say to Nathan,
Was the man's intention to bind you?
It was to bind everything within the circle, myself included, or else why would you draw a circle and include people
Did
in
you
it?
say that? Did you say
tried-
that?
He tried to blackmail me to get out of it.
here. I mean, that's fair. Understand that. What I don't understand, throwing down the gauntlet via proxy, if you will.
Oh, I intend to throw the gauntlet down to him. I just don't know when I may see him again. My apologies. You are my guest. I should not have burdened you with such heavy words. I merely thought that as he spoke to you with reverence that you might have been his superior.
She kind of chuckles. No, I am not his superior. I believe I've seen him in the... I believe we've crossed paths before, but if he does that sort of thing, I'm not sure anyone will be supporting him. Again, it's not necessarily my business. We don't really know each other.
My apologies, then. As I've said, he spoke to you as if you were the leader. I had made an incorrect assumption.
Honestly, I don't know why he was doing this. It was very peculiar.
If I may speak on behalf of Stranger, it may be that, except for blackmail, he meant no harm. There are many ways of dealing with... And he hunts for a word. Art. And everyone's medicine is slightly different.
He will nod, and he will say, I can respect this logic, Bellic. However, I do not appreciate having my liberty removed from me to only be asked for a boon or a bauble so that I may be freed. That is not seemly. I am not a slave.
No, I find the ethics of that also questionable, if this is true. Which I don't doubt. I don't sense any deception in your words.
He'll contemplate, he will say, I have no doubt, based upon your assessments. And a matter of fact, Miss Hannah, that is your name, yes?
Yes, Hannah Leoi.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I have no doubt that you, and more than likely Mr. Bellic, in your time here, have looked at my truer self.
It definitely brings questions to mind.
Feel
What?
free to ask your
Isn't it-
question.
Well, she'll simply ask, "Are you an awakened?"
He'll contemplate that. Yes. Insofar as you would understand awakened.
She'll not. Honestly, that was my only question. Other than that, the rest of your being is for you to share.
He will contemplate, and he will say, allow me to ask you a question. In the shadows of time, back before there was a before, when mankind knelt at altars and prayed to gods who've now lost their names to time immemorial, what do you think happened to those gods?
Honestly, I don't know. Many things could have happened to them. At least from my perspective. Reality tends to be strange that way.
Yes.
My curiosity got the better of me. I had to have a glance. In return for my nosiness, you may ask me 3 questions. I will answer them truthfully.
Ishara will smile, and he will say, If it is all right, Mr. Bellick, I will keep those questions till a later date.
This is acceptable.
He will then say, do you know, Mr. Bellick, what happened to the old gods? The gods whose names were forgotten and no longer whose praises were sung?
I would assume they grow rather angry.
Sometimes they do. Or how they rail against the world. Because the old has come to be replaced by the new. And sometimes, however, they don't. To answer your question, Miss Hannah, as to what I may be, he contemplates. These gods still exist in places very far away, locked behind many doors, doors that they themselves locked. However, it is not impossible for these beings to step once again into our world should they wish. I am the product of one such union on a night between man and divinity, if you wish to know the answer.
Interesting.
I'm gonna do a roll.
So so you're product of the denizens in the high shadow?
He'll contemplate, and he will say, I do not believe that they would wish, in my mother's case, to be called such. She would prefer to be referred to as something else, but in a manner of speaking, yes.
It's quite interesting. Well, it seems you have quite the mark upon you. And with the hospitality you give, I hope you use it well.
So I got 3 successes on a kenning roll to try and sense if there's any weird glamour coming off of Ishar. Like as if he'd be Kinane or something.
Oh dear. This is a tiger question.
Both of us question.
I'd say would it.
So he doesn't come up. So he just comes across like.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's something. It's definitely not glamour that he's putting on.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a gray mare roll.
Do you have the yours to match what you're trying to figure out about him?
I don't know anything about him, so I'm just trying to figure out like if I've heard anything like in in like lessons or anything, or if I have any knowledge of what it is. I don't have any lores. That's the whole point of rolling for this, because I don't have the lores.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Sorry if that came off a little ruder than it was meant to. I just couldn't think of any like other way to put that. 2 successes for that, assuming standard difficulty.
So you kind of understand it from the changeling lens. There have been, Saudi Arabia and everything, and he's clearly not normal.
Mm-hmm.
And, especially compared to the other awakened in the room. Tales of there being like Jinn and the like and stuff, and it kind of matches what you've heard, but not quite.
Okay. So that he won't say anything. He'll just keep watching the conversation, hoping to gain more clues.
Shar will say, my mother, who was one of these beings, call her a goddess or call her what you will, was Scheherazade, the keeper of the 1,000 tales. Her job or her function was to entertain the heavens with the 1,001 Arabian Nights, the stories that were the basis of our people, and the source from which we, the Tiftani, draw our strength, our mysticism. So I was born from a union between her and an awakened father, and thus here I stand. That is my story.
Forgive the curiosity of a lone traveler, but what is this Teftani you mention?
He blinks and he says, Teftani is the living fire, the spark of creation made manifest. It is my brothers, my sisters, myself, we who wield the fire of creation.
He nods.
You were approaching, not laugh at him.
So,
Sure. Or
I feel. Why am I not? What am I?
he's just the one that claimed that he holds a power of creation.
Okay. I was kind of chuckle with that.
It doesn't bother Ishar. He just sits there smiling, drinking his wine. However, you must understand, Miss Hannah. Ah, I now understand. He smiles. Yes, it makes sense. Yes, it does. Why else? Fascinating. I contemplate something. Your friend, as I have said, because of my parentage, I suffer from certain inalienable flaws in this world. They are simple to my existence, so it now makes sense. Your friend may not have believed that his circle could or indeed would bind me, and that is acceptable. I may forgive a man his ignorance. However, to try and extort me for services or boons when I stepped back into our world, that is not easily forgiven.
I don't blame you. I'd probably feel the same way if that was done to me.
Perhaps the road. Sorry. Tiger, you go.
Alternatively, you could sit down with them like an adult and talk it out.
You know, as adults do.
I can arrange such a thing.
He smiles again, and all that he's thinking is, you've clearly never seen how Teftani adults solve their problems. We make
Anna seems to have a very... She's very blue and she's very calm on her face. In response to that smile.
We make Certamen look like it's fucking, a day in the park.
Probably.
It's in the Teftani book. You know how Muhammad supposedly moved a mountain? He didn't. Two Teftani were having a fight and blew it up.
That sounds about right.
But he will say, you are indeed... I will amend my statement then. If he is willing to apologize for the misconception, then there need be no bad blood between us.
I would prefer less bad blood between our kinds. We're on our own after all. Although not quite 100% true in the case of what Bella mentioned, the other entities that are in the room on the other side. But they too are part of our kinds in a strange sense. We need to stick together.
We are all walkers upon the road, regardless where the road may lead.
Perhaps. But there are other things that don't necessarily see it that way. Friends are friends. And they're very underrated. She'll be sipping more of the wine. This is really good.
Thank you. It is from a small vineyard just outside Damascus.
She smiles. I don't necessarily know my wine, but give my regards to them if you ever see them again.
I could
Sure,
not.
thank
Sorry, what was that, Tiger?
Okay.
Yuri.
Okay, he says,
Or Tiger. at least.
I could not do that in Chani, unfortunately. Due to the war currently raging in Syria, the vineyard has been reduced to naught but ashes. This was one of the last bottles of their wine.
I see. Well, I'll be sure to cherish their work then when drinking this. And I'm sorry.
Bellic quickly finishes his wine in appreciation.
It looks like a contemplating something, and she's just like, this night I might ask that I might take the glass home, so I maybe produce more of this for you.
You will say, it is not necessarily the wine that is important. It is not necessarily the fact that it is the last bottle or the taste. It is the significance that it is the last bottle, if that makes sense.
I think I understand that. By the way, what's Lily's aura like?
Lily?
Mhm.
Okay, or she's very closed off. She's not very like a person.
Also clearly a mage.
Clearly a mage.
Clearly a mage. I could figure that from the bookstore.
Yeah, Professor or Tanya.
She'll nod at that. And she just seems to be, at least Hannah, she's just enjoying and sipping on the wine.
But Marcus is
And she'll be whispering words in Enochian under almost after every sip.
I have a question after we introduce whoever else is coming into the scene, should they wish to do so. Because that brings up an interesting question.
Marcus, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Seeing as how he's running past everything because he's on his psychotic triathlon training program, he will his dumb awareness is always on. So seeing a feeling a bunch of strangeness, his dumb butt will walk over there and check out and see what's going on.
Okay. What you see is a large red pavilion done in the kind of traditional silken style of the Bedouins. It is just next to the main road that goes through Hyde Park. That is just opposite the one of the small lakes within the park itself. You will notice that everyone around it is just not noticing that it is there, as in they appear to be either oblivious or don't care that it exists. And they're just casually walking by.
Since they don't seem to be noticing it, when you pick that up and he's feeling the weirdness from it, it's a building. And he goes, he kind of pulls on the outside and he goes, "Seek permission to enter."
She'll look, Hannah will look behind her and the tent that's being open, and she'll have a look of surprise on her face.
Oh, sorry, Marcus. As soon as you get within about 15 feet of the tent or so, as you cross onto the grass, question: do you possess any correspondence?
Nope.
Okay. You definitely feel you are pushing against a magical effect. So it feels, as I described it earlier, like cool water, like a drizzle of rain for a split second as you pass under it. But you are genuinely aware that you've just passed a magical effect. As you stand outside the tent, the Ishar will put down his hookah and he will say, "Ah, I see that the winds of Providence do indeed blow with interesting speed, Miss Hannah. It would appear as though your friend is outside."
She'll kind of look. Kind of just give him a nod and return to drinking wine.
At which point he'll say, "You may." You hear the voice call from inside Marcus, just saying, "You may enter."
He walks in to look at the assemblage. Who's here?
Okay. What you see on the inside is a tent that is lit by oil lamps. It is carpeted on the floor by Persian rugs. To one side, there is a large series of shelves and scrolls that have all been sealed and wrapped in twine. The collective quote-unquote player party are sitting at a large round table drinking wine from silver cups with a silver decanter of wine on the table and are smoking from a large central hookah pipe.
He takes off his shoes. Kind of comes over and has a seat.
Before you enter, Ishar will raise a hand as if to stop you, and he will say, "You are welcome in my home. You are welcome in my home, stranger. I would simply ask that," he contemplates his next words, "in future when you use binding, to watch where it is you bind those within, or watch whom it is you bind within."
May I reply?
By all means.
The nature of the order is protection. Because I was unaware of what was inside, or what could have been inside. Because I was unaware of it. And so I thought it best to protect the weakened state of the individual next to me to bind and hold what was inside.
It just so happens. Sorry, continue.
You can ask Hannah. My people are guardians first.
It just so happens that you happen to bind me in the process.
I was unaware of your nature, but now I am.
And he will say, "Very well then. Any anger that is between us, let it be forgotten. Would you care to sit and have a glass of wine?"
I can't partake of drink or smoke. With that kind of emotion.
You can, of course, sit. Would you care for shisha?
What is that?
He gestures
towards flavored stuff.
He gestures towards the hookah.
I'm good.
For the record, you will notice as you sit down, the smoke they're exhaling is bright purple.
Bellic will cock an eyebrow at the new entry at the mention of not partaking of drink and smoke. Not because it's unusual, but because it's unusual.
Is there some other refreshment I can perhaps get you, sir?
You've already given a gift today. You don't have to give him more.
Bellic,
As I
I'm sorry. Bellic will get up, hold his finger up like this, and then we'll leave the tent.
Where are you going, Bellic?
To get milk.
Oh, kind of cock an eyebrow at that. It's like, okay. And by the way, this is a Caucasian shepherd following him, I think.
He looks at Hannah. He goes, "Is that thing natural?"
We'll say, out of character, Marcus. Are we assuming that like Hannah and Carnifex like talk to each other?
We would have been introduced. That's about it.
Would we know each other's houses?
Houses, yes. They would have
Okay.
made sure that we know. It's the freaking order. We know it.
Yeah. I would have figured. I just want to make sure. And she'll say that one more time.
Is that thing altogether natural?
Depends on what you mean by natural.
If it is, I won't.
You can ask him yourself.
That time he manages to do it. Shah will once again concentrate for a few moments, speak words in Aramaic as he places his hand, or he places his fingertip into the bowl of wine. He will infuse it with tass that he will transform into quintessence. And then, interestingly enough, you'll see him stand up, and he will open the section of the shisha that is where one would traditionally put the coals for the shisha pipe, and he will empty the quintessence infused wine into the charcoal, basically, to feed the little fire spirits that live in there. So he's basically feeding them. So, as this is a bit of a magical place, Tiger, if you don't mind it not making the fire go out, but making it kind of sparkle crackle happily as it eats the wine. Yay! So you'll see the fire blaze up and start to crackle more as they consume the quintessence that was infused into the wine. And coincidentally, you know what? For bullshit flange reasons, that's also why it has the interesting pink hue that it has. It's their way of saying thank you, because it makes it look pretty.
And she'll like take a hit. She'll like, Seems like that did something.
It is always good, as I say, to appease the spirits. And when they're happy, they tend to be more productive.
That's most times. That's something that I'm going to be starting to learn soon, hopefully. I've been doing my studies in that regard. Still a little bit hard to get my head around it, but I'm sure I'll get creative.
Are we to assume Bellic walks back in with milk?
Yes, Bellic comes back in with milk and is curious about the nature of the conversation because he is nosy.
If your spirit side is still up, you said you were scanning, you will notice that the fire spirits in the hookah are a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and a lot happier.
I'm assuming I did not go on a milk run with spirit side up, but thank you for the knowledge out of character.
Hooray!
Can you imagine me running for milk with spirit side up? I would trip on things.
Can you imagine just the milk spirits pleading with you not to drink them?
Also, somebody was thinking that the dog was a bear, so slightly bear.
Might as well be a bear.
Weren't they bred to fight bears?
Wolves, but yes. Like whole wolf packs, but at least that's my understanding. I could be wrong. But Bellic will come back in with milk and a couple of like the local equivalent of solo cups and gesture towards anyone who wants one. Milk? Does body good?
Sure. pull out a big old box of cookies. He does.
Appreciate it.
But he does basically just carry around baked goods.
Appreciate the offer, Bellic, but milk upsets my stomach.
Understand.
As I have said, in my culture, it is bad luck to refuse a drink from a guest. By all means, I shall have some of your milk.
Bellic will pass out cups and just pass around a gallon of milk. He will pour the first splash for every single cup, and then after that will allow people to pour for themselves.
Ishar will step in the back of he will basically leave through the back tent flap, and will return a few minutes later with a series of silver dishes that he's got one silver dish in each hand and some of the others kind of laid on his arms. And he will place them down on the table. They basically contain things like olives, small amounts of diced cooked lamb, flatbread, olive oil, basically everything that you probably get. Like, if you've ever had Middle Eastern tapas, he basically brings in Middle Eastern tapas.
I probably had it, I just don't remember.
But he will pick up some of the flatbread, dip it in the olive oil, and say, "Please partake. As I have said, you are my guests. It is good to share a meal."
Thank you, Isha. And Hannah will take a little bit and eat very slowly.
Your baked goods, Miss Lily, are delicious. Thank you for the offer. As a matter of fact, he will take one of the cookies. Hang on, I gotta do this. I'm totally channeling my inner Howl from Howl's Moving Castle right now. I'm not gonna lie.
So what are you doing with the cookie?
If you have spirit set up, you see that he infuses Tass into the cookie. He infuses quintessence into the cookie, changes it to Gnosis, and feeds it to the hookah fire. Because even the hookah gets a cookie.
It's really good.
Imagine the spirits are going.
Well, now I'm gonna have to constantly get them cookies, because now they've had cookies, it won't, nothing else will do.
Cookies! Cookies!
Cookies!
Cookies, I like cookies. Cookies.
Tiger, I demand that I demand my spirit totem be Cookie Monster for science.
I can demand all you want, regardless of whether I answer that demand is an entirely different question.
Oh, damn.
The entire time this is going on, Conflict's eyebrow is like stuck in the really position.
Artifacts has become the rock.
Bellic will look at the new arrival and say, "I'm Bellic. How are you?"
Currently, I'm okay, except for the spirit introduction that happened earlier. I'm fine.
Milk?
Is it organic?
Sure.
Live on the plant-based planet, everything is organic.
He looks at it. He said, "Sure, okay." He drinks it.
I was going to point out, Carnifex drinks Coke, for Christ's sake. Coke's the most non-organic thing you contemplate thinking of.
You don't know.
Hey, nothing makes sense.
Everything is permitted. Anyway.
Who are you people?
Bellic looks astonished as he just answered that question.
No. I mean, like, who are you?
I was walking my dog. It's all pretty thin.
We'll try again. I am Carnifex of the Order of Hermes, and I am what is known colloquially as a mage.
In that case, if we're doing introduction, my full name is Aishar Nihal Naldrona. I am but a simple weaver of the Teftani.
Okay.
Nate, Alex is watching everyone do their introductions with interest.
Alicia? You already know my first and last name. You all know my first and last name, and I'm also of the Order of Hermes, as Carnifex is, although we're of different groups.
Yeah, that's all the work.
Oh, you guys are gonna like me.
Try me. She'll say, try me.
I don't like Thursday.
Disparate Alliance.
Hey, cool.
I was going to say, you kind of get a Disparate Alliance fist bump.
I'm Nathan. I make clocks.
You said that like 5 times now.
I mean,
Does it become less true every time he says it?
I hope not. I love making clocks.
So, are they like
Me a clock?
Sure.
awakened, like assistants or something? Are they grogs?
No, they're just clocks. They're really good at talking the time.
I want it to be
No.
really cool. So,
He looks at the mages and he goes, are these grogs for somebody or something?
Anna will almost look like she snapped back into the conversation, as if she was zoning out earlier. And she'll look to Ardbane.
Oh, sorry, continue.
She'll look to Ardbane. What about you?
I'm Alex. I teach kids stuff.
So you're a
Pretty
teacher.
good.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Marcus. I didn't hear what Carnifex said.
He said, so, are these people okay, or are we going to fix them when they leave?
Is she asking me that? Is he asking me
He
that?
asked that. He asked the
I think
whole
it's-
room that.
I think it's a quorum question.
Huh. And it'll just kind of have like a kind of look on her face.
Bellic visibly bristles at the idea of someone who just introduced themselves as a member of the Order of Hermes fixing anyone.
Yeah.
I just
Ishara
kind
will-
of shake her head and like Hannah will like shake her head and put her hand on her forehead.
you do realize
Drinking water.
it's like 3 times that only special people can enter this tent. So they'll awaken.
I mean, that doesn't mean that they're safe just because they're special. Like, to be fair.
Ishar will blink twice, and he'll kind of look at Nathan because he's gotten the idea that Nathan is the kind of not necessarily the superior, but he tends to be the more talkative of the two, and he'll blink twice and he'll say, "Did your friend just say that you were not safe under my hospitality? I would never let any harm come to my guest. That is abhorrent."
I don't think that's quite what he meant. He's playing devil's advocate right now. Wait, Joey, was that in or out of character? I'm sorry.
What was? Oh, no, that was out of character.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Continue on then. I was going to say, insulting someone's like doing that and saying, "I don't know if we're safe in your hospitality," is like a major thing. You're just like, "Oh well, that's a kick in my nads."
I can tell you that while I understand, he's talking to Carnifex when he says this. I can understand safety concerns, yes, but I don't know what you mean by fixing me. Perfectly fine. Quite heavily, any attempts to quote fix me unquote.
You get angry every time we talk about Brendan. Oh, she's paying you like $1,000 to make her clock.
He just slightly he shakes his hand and says, "No, I'm deliver."
Mr. Carnifex, as long as these individuals are beneath my roof, they are my guests. You will not do anything to quote-unquote fix them whilst they are my guests.
Okay.
He will then add, because he is a very literal individual, what it is you do when they are not my guests is your business. However, they have proven to be trusty. They have proven to be, not, he wanted trusting, they have proven to be communicative in their own way, pleasant, and I do not believe pose you any threat. So to simply let them along I would simply let them along their way.
Where do you live? She's just kind of asking that to everybody.
What was the question, Kim?
Or do you? Other than and she'll point to the dude squatting in the tent in the park.
It's a very nice tent.
In the Mortimer or it's like Golden Forest. I don't know. It's a word.
Nathan gives the rough area that he lives in. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Me either.
Carnifex looks thoughtful.
I was the buzz against moving to the northern borough.
I like it. People there are quite pleasant to me, and he'll kind of give Arvane a knowing look when he says that.
Mm-hmm. Alex won't actually react, but he will catch Nathan's eye. And in the dreaming, you can see Arbane's sword is resting on the hilt of his sword, or his hand is resting on the hilt of his sword, I should say.
Since it's a chimerical only, so nobody else can see it.
Yeah.
Damn it! Why are you such dicks?
I mean, you know, Ethan doesn't go anywhere without his armor, so.
I would just like to point out that if I was Canthos meeting Aishar, the two of them would get on like a house they just lit on fire.
Hannah puts down the shisha. Puts it to the side. Very good shisha, she'll say to Ishar.
I thank you. Another member of my Halamat makes it fresh for me. I could not be without it.
I don't blame you, it's good stuff.
He'll nod. Indeed. He makes the finest tobacco and incense of any man you will ever meet.
Could such an individual perhaps create a special blend on commission?
Of course he can.
Very well. I would like to be in contact with this individual if this is acceptable.
He will contemplate and he will say, I do not know where he is currently. More than likely wandering the city to see what his eyes can see. However, when he is next here, I will let him know that you are interested and we will facilitate a meeting.
That would be lovely. I appreciate this.
Once again, he'll give a kind of a seated bow, and he will say, "It is of no problem to me."
I'm sorry, do you want my cell phones?
He lives in a tent.
That's a fair point. Here, here's my card. So you can contact me when you get done with my club.
Okay.
Ishar will say, "I have no real use for a cell phone. I find out what I need to find out in a different way."
I'm fine with you.
Okay.
I didn't like them. I didn't say about them. I just found them useful.
Well, I said they're okay.
Oh, why are you so obstinate?
That is a large word.
It's a word that's increasingly getting used to describe me, and I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Is it all by different people?
Yes.
In that case, you may have a problem.
If it helps, Cantos' main words for describing Nathan are glorious, man of the people, pain in my ass, etc.
That's an asshole I'm gonna steal everything from.
I mean, not really. Unfortunately, he is kind of loyal. He's just like, "Oh, please, God, don't be a sinking ship. I don't want to go down on a sinking ship. Don't be a sinking ship."
Carnifex kind of stands up and he kind of looks at the assemblage. Have all of you been in this place for a long time? Or are all of you newcomers?
What do you mean by this place? London as a whole, or just?
London.
Oh, I've only been here for a couple months.
I immigrated here when I was about 14. So it's been quite a while.
I've been here about 6 to 8 months.
So spiritual interdiction is common or uncommon?
Spiritual interdiction. My English is not so great. Could you break that down slightly?
Spirits showing up and doing weird stuff.
Powerful spirits, not race. Powerful umbrage, yes.
He smiles. Ishar smiles and he says, "Are you talking about the death of a god?"
I wasn't speaking about anything in particular.
Yes. I have no doubt.
I seek to know, as Hannah has stated, as a real preference for the protection of the chantry itself, the tradition, as it were. So any information that I can gain helpful, and I would pay the favor if you had it in the offer.
Well, who knows what will come of it. I seem to have missed this event that you're describing, Carnifex.
You wish to know? Ishar will smile and he will say, "Mr. Carnifex, you wish to know about the spiritual health and or well-being of London, yeah?"
No, I asked about one specific instance. Is it common or is it uncommon? It's a real yes or no question. And I said if the answer was offered. And I asked if the answer was offered.
I'm sorry, but if you ask about a specific instance, then how can it be common?
Non-specific instance. Spiritual interdiction. Is it common here? Yes or no?
You're using a term I do not know. Is interdiction interference in what we would term the grey world, or more so in spiritual activity? How does one define interdiction?
I'm unaware of the terms you use. I am
the action of enter something and preventing the movement of a prohibited commodity or person, or the action of prohibiting or forbidding something.
I do not know the answer to that question on if it is common, Mr. Carnifex. However, I am more than happy to take you to where you can find the answer.
Does it involve an umbrood?
It involves going... contemplates. Yes and no.
If it involves an umbrood, I can't be a part of it, lest I be put to death.
I can't hear you, Marcus.
He says, I'd rather not be put to death, so I really can't go there.
In that case, if any of you are interested in the answer to Mr. Carnifex's question, or simply to see the other side, I am quite happy to take you to where the answer can be found.
Well, I guess if they're there and seen enough.
It's just
The reason I ask is because there's a great deal of predictions that can be made in such an instance. I was just wondering if those preparations need to be made.
Only time will tell, Mr. Carnifex. He looks at Hannah and quirks his head to the side. He says, perhaps you who seem the most... Well, there is Mr. Bellick. I have no doubt that Mr. Bellick would enjoy a good adventure. But perhaps you, Miss Hannah, would you care to come with me? He smiles.
She contemplates. You know, usually I would take up an offer like that. But I think I'd rather prepare and learn and practice a little bit more with the Umbrood before I go on such an adventure.
The Jinn are easy to speak to if you listen.
I think easy is something that's very relative, Isha.
No, Mitchell's gone. Oh, it's there.
But I appreciate the offer.
Wow,
Perhaps I'll let you.
Sorry, continue on.
Perhaps I'll let you know a time when I am ready for such an adventure. But for this specific instance,
I just love how Mitchell just kind of popped into appearance. It's just like, and it's a Mitchell in the box.
You should not necessarily forego adventure because you're not ready for it. It may not come your way again. The last time someone took me on an adventure, I had a wonderful time.
No, you didn't.
Manips up. She'll simply, don't worry about it. She'll just simply say, I'm more of one of the philosophy to prepare for things before I set out on them. And though it may not come, an adventure may not come to me and I may miss out on it, there are always other opportunities. The tapestry is very large.
Fear not, Bellick will bring you many adventures.
I prefer adventures not to be thrust upon me.
Mr. Bellick, allow me to ask you a question then. Would you care to go on an adventure?
Perhaps. You have 2 left.
You are as sneaky as a Jinn. I approve.
Or simply does not forget bargains he makes.
Carnifex, his eyes kind of narrow, and he begins to actually just look at people. Like before he was just kind of paying attention, sort of, but now he's beginning to focus on people occasionally while the conversation is going on. He's kind of looking, examining people a little bit more closely. He's doing very obvious about it. He has to do it both ways.
what do you mean by everybody?
He will say, allow me then in that case to not ask a question, but make a statement. I'm curious as to the answer to Mr. Carnifex's question. So I intend to go and look for the answer in a place I believe the answer can be found. Those of whom are able to step into the world opposite ours, what would be called the Umbra, perhaps, I would invite to come with me. It is an interesting place to go and one that you can only find if you know where to look. But I would be happy to show it to you. If anyone here has heard of the City of Brass.
I have to know spirit more to. Okay.
What was that, Kim?
Shoot, I was trying to see if I knew what he was talking about. Okay. Do I?
You've got to work on it.
Okay. The City of Brass.
I've heard of.
Oh, do you want me to tell you what it is, or do you know what it is?
She'll say I've heard of it. I don't really know much about it.
You'll say, the City of Brass is a place within the other side, the other world, as it is called, where the Jinn, those mischievous spirits, live and do deals with mortal kind. It is a beautiful place, as I have said, built in the fashion of old Arabia, now long forgotten. It is a place that you can only go to if you know where to go. But these mischievous beings know many things and have many secrets, if you know where to go and ask the right question.
Thanks. Or the case of.
This seems perilous.
He contemplates and he says, no one may be harmed within the City of Brass, except if they allow themselves to be. There are rules, you understand.
Not all harm one may come to is physical.
He will say, it is a place that you only gain what it is you bring, and a place that you only leave with what you are willing to lose. However, sometimes people offer to lose more than they understand. That is the nature of the place.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of fake. She's Irish, by the way. She's got the heavy accent that I'm not even going to try. She's very superstitious about this, if you can't tell.
He will, out of character, Evan thanks you for not trying to do an accent you can't do, because when you can't do an Irish accent and you try to do an Irish accent, it makes me sad. Much sad, Panda. As I have no doubt any Arab would be very sad, Panda, over my attempt to do an Arabic accent, but say that be. He will say, it is not necessarily perilous, as I have said, more a great adventure. I have only ever been there a handful of times myself, with masters and great magi, great members of my order. But it is a place that is unlike any other, and I am happy to show you the way.
You see, I'm torn.
Why are you torn?
Because on the one hand, this could be a great adventure, and on the other, Bellic has a little bit of sense.
James Baker, after all.
This game
Yeah,
so
sense
far.
about these things.
I am curious about these events, but not quite curious enough to traipse into a place I do not know very well. Yet.
He will nod, and he will say, if it makes you feel better, Bellic, I would be more than happy to lend you a scroll or two on the concept of the city, so that you may at least become somewhat familiar.
And the charge for this?
You will contemplate that you consider joining me on an escapade. After all, the greatest of adventures are ones that are not just had by one set of feet alone.
Bellic will look to Hannah and go, see? See? This is how they get you.
She kind of does that like nod to the side, and she's kind of has a smirk on her face and says, "That's how they do it."
Ishar will stand and he'll walk to the back of the room where the scrolls are kept, and he will kind of check through them as his finger, bumps along to read the inscriptions on the wooden panel beneath them. He'll take one, pick it up, and he'll walk back over and hand it to Bellic.
Bellic will very carefully kind of peek at the scroll.
It just appears to be a scroll. It has a seal on it that can be easily popped open. It's bound up in twine, and it appears to be made of paper, of just kind of ordinary sheet paper that has been kind of yellowed with time.
You're not reading that.
Love how everyone thinks I'm dodgy as fuck. I'm really not.
Hannah doesn't think you're dodgy.
Evan, this is what happens when you play a fuck ton of dodgy as fuck characters in a row, and then play one non-dodgy one.
I would like. Okay, hang on. I would like to point out for posterity. Hang on, I'm going through them in my head. Okay, the first. God damn it, you're kind of right. The first three were dodgy as fuck. Canthos isn't really that dodgy. He's really not.
Wasn't like the first scene he was like he had his hands around some bitches and stuff like that?
What? Who? Canthos? Yeah, probably. Canthos is a man whore.
Yeah, there you go.
Canthos introduced himself as House Leanne.
Canthos introduced himself as what, sorry?
House Leanne.
He did.
Yeah, that's kind of auto dodgy.
He is kind of okay. God damn it. Okay, I play dodgy characters. I'm a bad person. Bad Evan.
In real life.
To be fair, Bellic just remembers the last adventure that he was on.
Went so well.
It went so well.
You didn't want to adventure with a fucking permanent derangement. I did.
Yeah, but there also weren't like crazy dead things offering to give me their phone number either. Oh wait, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah, it was. Anyway.
He goes, Carface listens to all the conversation and this going to the other places and all that jazz. And he looks at the people who have been suspiciously quiet the entire time, which is Nathan and the other person, Alex. And he says,
Nathan he hasn't been quiet the entire time.
He's been very careful about what he said. He's been very circumspect.
Okay, that's fair.
He goes, so what kind of special are you? I mean, we're all safe here under the rules of hospitality, right? So we can be kind of honest. Kind of dirty.
Alex he doesn't really look at Nathan. He just kind of shifts, waiting for Nathan to say something first.
Nathan looks like he's thinking. We'll go with fairies. That'll be fine. We'll go with fairies.
So, you just kind of see Lily's face drop as she stands up from sitting next to you and moves around to the other side.
Anna just kind of has a look on her face like,
Alex just looks over at Lily and says, "So you know the old stories, then?"
She's clutching her purse and she's just looking at between the two of them, and she's like, "Oh shit, I'll have to make a deal with one of you."
If it helps, I'm mostly from.
We're all safe here. It's all hospitality.
Sorry. Okay, two people were talking at once, so didn't get any of that.
Nathan just looked at Lily and said, "If it helps, I'm from stories of old Jews."
Well, neither am I, but
I mean, like, I'm not from the Isles.
Alex will just raise an eyebrow and offer Lily his cup and say, "Would you like some wine? It might help with the issues you appear to be having."
you just made her like 20 times more suspicious than she was. Just
I know,
2
he did that on
seconds ago.
purpose. He did that on purpose because he's a fairy. He's capricious as fuck.
Bellic reaches for a hose, puts the mouthpiece in his mouth, and just kind of absently hands the jug of milk over.
And she's just freaking out. Like, she's like, "Oh shit, how do I get out of this deal? I don't want to do this anymore."
Are you okay?
She knows something we don't.
I told her I'd make her a clock, and she thinks I'm gonna rake her over the coals for it. If I'm right.
Are you?
Hadn't planned on it.
Okay.
She's like, I
Decide.
have no idea.
Don't worry, Ashar will blast whatever it is in the kingdom come. He's got to. You're under his protection.
Ishar is just sitting there drinking wine.
He did specify that's only while he's here.
How about this?
I'm back.
What'd you say, Mitchell?
How about this? If you would like, I will take over payment for a clock for you. Consider it housewarming gift. Only in reverse.
What? She's like, she's going a little insane right now. Like, she's pretty much just looking for salt.
I mean, if you don't want the clock, I'm not gonna be super fucked up about it. It's fine. It's not a huge deal.
Your fairy.
Raven just seems to be looking at the, like, kind of observing the conversation, kind of looking between people.
Yeah, she is. So you're fairy, huh?
Yeah.
Would you like to take dog for a walk? Would make you feel better?
I don't know. But that is a very productive song. And she's just gonna go over and pet him. And just ignore everybody else for a few minutes.
Well, that is most certainly something. So, Nathan of the Fairies, eh? At least I now have a name and a place to put your name to, friend.
You're not wrong.
He smiled. As I have said, the Teftani have no issue with anyone and wish to be friends with all. And that is all we desire.
Sounds like a good goal. And she'll kind of raise her glass and say, "To friends." She'll drink the rest of her wine.
Oh, there was a toast.
I'll drink my wine too.
Whew. Haven't felt this relaxing in a long time.
Wine will have that effect.
Maybe I should drink a little more often, or maybe not. I don't know.
Bellic rummaged his flask again.
Maybe on cork. Wait, hands it to who?
To Hannah.
She'll say, what the hell? She'll take it.
Carnifex kind of gets up and starts looking out the flap to see if anybody's watching. Just like being super wary.
And she'll kind of take a sip of the flask and go, She'll give it back to Bellic. Ooh, strong.
Thank you.
At what point should we actually start making stamina rolls to see how plastered we are?
Oh, she's probably pretty like
Probably.
pretty side to side. Like you can kind of tell like Hannah's already like a little bit going side to side. Bit flush in the face, or blushed in the face, I should say. Because I don't feel like rolling right now.
But yes, needless to say, there is nothing better than excellent company, good food, and a warm fire, perhaps.
Definitely very viable on these nights. You know, do you guys know any places around the city where there's not too much activity? Old, abandoned places where there aren't many people?
I could always know more of them.
Well, maybe you... Oh, hang on, I'll be right back, guys. Hold on.
I was wondering if that's in character because that's something I know would totally do.
Should be careful. Lots of beautiful white fairies.
You're not wrong. I'm not super worried about it.
No, they can tell your fairies unless you tell them.
Yeah. Do you have a problem with fairies?
I have a problem with everybody. You don't gotta ask.
Fair enough. Do you have a particular problem with fairies?
Not any more than anybody else.
Okay.
What form do these problems take?
How do you
For
mean?
example, What is your problem with me currently?
He contemplates for a second. No one ever asked me that. It's hard to be adversarial with people you like. So if I have a problem with you, it becomes easy to become adversarial. It doesn't have to be a real problem. I just have to say there's one. If I say there's one, there is one. Even if it's not real.
Interesting.
Alrighty, guys, I'm back. Sorry. Cat had a rough time at the vet. So, anyway. What went down?
Don't really think anything.
Carnifex just said he had a problem with everyone. Bellic asked, what was your problem with me? Carnifex gave an answer. I did not know it was traditional in the Order of Hermes to raise individuals to have such skepticism and dislike for the mass populace.
I know we'll just kind of have a smirk on her face, but that's about it.
I was reared in a very particular fashion for one very specific task.
I see.
And Hannah will just say, as expected.
Do you also possess a problem with everyone, Miss Hannah?
She'll shake her head. No, I don't. People are who they are for a variety of reasons. I can't hold it against them. That wouldn't be fair.
I've often pondered if life is inherently fair, but still love you.
Just because it isn't, doesn't mean I don't try to be. Doesn't mean I don't try to be fair here and there, or as much as I can.
Carnifex smiles a little and says, were I a more cynical person, I would find it very interesting that the two individuals that have stated that they're fairies have only revealed that they're fairies, whereas we have revealed upon them way more information. And all they had to do was sit here and drink tea and drink wine and smoke. I think that's funny.
Raises his hand and says, I have not revealed anything to anyone except that I have a dog and that I enjoy milk.
And besides, no one pressured us to really reveal who we were.
That's the best kind of revelation.
You know what? Ishar will smile and he will say, and that is the reason why the Order of Hermes continue to lose the war to the technocracy. Because you hide. You try to convince the world that you do not exist. We build a new reality. That is the difference between you and I.
Nathan gives whenever Ishar says that, Nathan just kind of gives Arvena, oh boy, here we fucking go. Look.
I think Hannah catches that and she's like, she kind of gives a look of, yep, here we go.
Outside of the pavilion, you hear Eon go, "Do I need to come in there and kick some ass?" Which is obviously chimerical.
I'll be right back.
Isn't Eon your horse?
Yes.
You have a talking horse.
That's the only kind of horse there should be.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what war you're speaking of. Though theoretically, it sounds interesting.
He will quirk an eyebrow, and he will say, amusing. For the record, it was your sister of the Order of Hermes who was the first to address the technocracy in this pavilion, sir. So, you are entitled to your beliefs. You are entitled to the falsehoods that you deign to tell the world. However, ultimately, there will only be the victors and the vanquished in this conflict. I would prefer to be on the side that claims victory.
As I said, whatever conflict that you were speaking of or involved in, I hope you come out on top.
You need not have worried about Miss Hannah revealing the existence of the technocracy to us.
We're already quite acquainted. Not huge
Their
fans.
blood, though their minds are stunted, their blood still flows just as well as any other.
That was creepy as fuck.
What did you say, Marcus? It was really garbled.
He said that was creepy as fuck.
I mean, he's right though. They're like, look, fuck 'em. They're awful. I think we are all in agreement on that matter.
Inshallah.
You were not agreeing with him.
Okay.
All right, whatever.
What is expression?
Raider, bad guy that I should be worried about.
Sorry, what were you saying, Mitchell?
What is the expression? Poker face is not best.
Meh.
In other news, this occult shop, when are they open?
Hannah will give the times. It's like she just zoned back in randomly in the conversation.
Thank you. I will visit them when next I'm able.
It's weird the things I forget and the things I remember. Does anyone have Aura Sight up for the record?
Not currently.
No, I just said.
I did earlier very briefly for one specific purpose and do not anymore.
Okay. Was just curious.
Alex is just, he's reclined, like, you know how royalty, like Roman royalty would like recline while they were eating? That is, yes, that's how he's reclining, as he's just sipping his wine.
It is very good wine.
What? No, he's not really saying anything, but like his body language indicates that he's very, very pleased. Like, if you even know, like, I would say if you have even, like, a dot of empathy, you can see he is very obviously pleased.
Suffice to say that if you do find out anything about that occurred, or if it does affect any of you, please let me know, because it concerns me too. Probably the whole city. It's something we should all be wary of. Oops.
I'll definitely let you know of anything if I encounter it, Carnifex.
As I don't like to use the term gods because people get offended. Some brood can have large effects on the group, on the area that they make action in. So whatever your group, whatever your belief, be wary of. If you have the capability to look on what people call the other side, you should probably go do that and make that investigation. I will make myself available for any sort of coordination. This is my number. If anybody finds anything, it's something that I will be focusing my investigation on. It's also something that I will be taking to my superiors. I won't tell them anything about you because of this whole hospitality thing, and that'd be also being a dick. And I'm being a dick when I have to be. That being said, I bid you all a good day. I have things to do.
Very well, Carnifex.
He does leave. He does leave a stack of the handwritten phone number cards. Anybody who checks with the landline, he doesn't have a cell phone. And then he leaves.
Okay. Before you, God dang it! I need to ask him a question that was important. Oh. He did accept the offer of milk, didn't he?
I don't recall. I think he did, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
I've yawned since then.
That's fine. As a matter of fact, as it's getting a bit late and I've got one or two things to do, does anyone mind if we start doing the wrap-up?
Yeah, I'm game.
Okay. Ishar will stand and he will say, "As pleasant as this has been, friends, I have things that need to occupy my time. So it is that I must ask to say good evening."
Alex will elegantly stand and say, "Before you go, would you accept a token of my appreciation for your hospitality?"
He will blink, once again, kind of blink, blink, blink. He will say, "It would be very rude of me not to accept."
And he'll nod, and then he will go. He will leave the tent and head outside. He will do like a gesture to follow him, but
I assume we're gonna go and follow him.
Sure. As Bellic rises, he states, "When next I have a home, you are more than welcome to visit."
Wonderful. I will look forward to that. As I said, Bellic, he'll say this as they're walking outside, out into the darkness. He'll say, "I sense that you and I see the world in a very similar way, and it's always good to speak to kindred spirits, no?"
Duh.
Thank you very much for everything, Ishar. It was a nice day.
So Joey, what are you doing?
okay. So this is a like a clearing that the Tuftani have, right?
Yeah.
Any place that is like clear.
I mean, there's probably space in between the tent and in between the trees.
Okay. Actually, is like the central area of the clearing free?
Yes.
Okay, he will gesture to and ask, "Are you using that space for anything?"
He'll say, "Not currently, no."
And he will nod and walk over. And he will kneel right at the right in front of it, right in front of the spot, right in the center of the clearing. And so I'm gonna spend 2 glamour chem. I'm gonna take an essence, and I'm going to unleash Primal with the command of "Grow me a beautiful gift." AKA, he's using Primal to grow a tree in the center of their clearing.
Oh,
Like
mother
a
of
very
God,
beautiful
this is badly, you're going to destroy my house.
Actually, before he did this. Actually, well, no, because he didn't. He got permission, so yeah, permission. But he asked. He already did that. Just not.
Hannah will take
Yes.
precautionary steps backwards.
All right. So, Need to check. All right. 6 dice at difficulty 7.
How many dots in
Oh,
combo do you
dear.
have?
So
Not
yeah,
that many.
4 successes. I have 2 dots, so it went over by 2.
Oh my house.
Yeah,
In
a
other
little
words,
bit.
though,
Okay. That's,
oh,
what,
and then also everybody needs to.
what tree would be important to what's his name?
Are you sure?
Yeah. What tree would be important to Ashar?
It would probably be some kind of fruit tree. So maybe like a tree that has dates or oranges.
Oh, okay. Okay. So at first, it's just small, tiny little of the ground. It's very tiny, tiny twig. It's growing a little bit at a time. And soon you recognize it as a date. And it just keeps growing and growing. And no, at some point you start thinking this should stop soon. It's not stopping.
Oh dear.
And it's growing slowly, so you can feel the roots traveling through the ground underneath your feet as it keeps spreading.
Oh dear.
And so
Hannah's just gonna start backing up more.
so
Also, yeah.
Let me know when it starts to like knock down my tent.
yeah, it's getting to that point. It's we're sort of stopped at a tree that's a couple of years old and just produces beautiful fruit. It's turning into this great ancient, is what it's turning into. So
Oh, and everybody also needs
it's
to.
getting pretty.
Everybody also needs to roll willpower at difficulty 8 because I have the weird invoke for the rest of the scene.
Okay.
Even.
Repent.
Hi.
I got 2 successes.
Yep. So you're not stunned. Because as this tree is growing, like this, there's this shimmer in the air around Alex, and then you see his Famine, which he's got long dark hair, braided with like strings of steel, and he's not wearing a helm or armor, but he has a long sword strapped, like belted to his waist, and he's wearing a dark colored tunic and light pants.
Okay. When the tree starts to knock over his tent, Ishar, because I don't want to make the noise he's going to make, as he figures out that all of his nice things are about to be destroyed.
Not destroyed, just over. As this thing keeps growing and pushing everything.
Some of those things are friends for now.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's a very nice assessment. However, unfortunately, it's not like his entire house is lit by oil lamps and there's not a giant shisha with lots of coals on the inside.
That's also a thing.
You know what the best part is? Is he invoked the weird.
Oh no. I do have the spheres to stop myself. I can remember you. Let's phrase it like that.
Do you know about the dreaming? That change on the lore?
Yeah,
Because I've always told you, I've told you multiple times now, that you have to have the
Oh,
knowledge
yeah.
that,
You have to have the knowledge, don't you?
yeah.
Can someone who is familiar with the system break down what just happened for me?
So, Arbane Unleashed, which is basically he drop kicked open the door to the dreaming in an effort to make a nice gift and lost control of it. So now there's just a giant date tree that is knocking over the tent.
Okay.
And things are catching on fire now.
Yeah.
And the willpower roll for?
Yeah, that was for his birthright as a she. He is so pretty that whenever he shows his true appearance, you have to roll willpower equal to the amount of dots and it many turns.
Yep.
Okay.
See, I don't fucking hate this dice roll. It's like, oh yeah, you're just doing something nice. Let's roll like 4 successes, because fuck you.
Usually
Like,
that's a
don't
good
do nice things. It's bad for you. Usually. But now it's just like, fuck you.
It's okay.
I want to
Jar is running into his tent to save his things.
I want to point out the only one Arbane and his Faemine is so far the only one that has been stunned by his appearance. Been stunned by his appearance, period.
Is it,
Jesus.
Nathan?
Okay.
So everything in the tent was visibly lit with flammable substances?
Correct.
Okay. So Bellic saw a bunch of things in there that were very fiery.
I'm back. So what's happening?
our
My cat was meowing. I wanted to make sure she was okay.
how much? What was the last thing you heard?
I got 2 successes. I think that his Faemine was coming on,
Yes.
and that I was
Okay.
taking several steps back.
Okay, you heard about this right now.
Okay, so Bellic's trying to help all his stuff catch on fire.
Nathan will run in and also help.
Bellic is going to help very oddly. Because Bellic saw a lot of fiery spirit type creatures in there, and assumes that maybe if he distracts them, they won't catch things on fire. Because this makes sense to Bellic.
That's fair.
So he starts to sing, throat sing in Odu, trying to get their attention.
Okay. Give me a charisma, art, or performance, whichever you have.
I have art, but it should probably be performance because it's singing.
Okay. Mages don't get performance. Do you have expression?
I don't think so. I think it's on
Art
machine
can be
art.
used for like singing and stuff like that if he has it as a specialty.
Yeah, I know. I actually bought performance on my character as an extra skill.
It's really weird how mages just don't have performance.
You know what mages
Yeah.
also don't have? Larceny. It defaults to stealth in mage.
Really?
No, they have it in secrets. It's in the Book of Secrets.
What is my difficulty?
For the singing, it'll be standard.
Okay. So I think I'm doing this right.
So there's fire everywhere?
There might be fire everywhere. Okay.
So the tree grew so big that it knocked over some stuff, like it started knocking into the tent, and it knocked over stuff in the tent, which was causing the blaze.
Okay. So as you are singing, I need you to roll Arete. Difficulty will be 5. Okay. Got 2 successes. This is enough. So yeah, you begin doing your throat singing to the spirits, and everyone in the regular world can see, despite that's falling over and stuff, the fire is staying pretty well self-contained. Like it's It's spilling out a little bit, but it's not spreading as much as it should be.
I wish I had forces. I wish I was a Teftani with forces right now.
Hannah can probably come in with the forces to effect. If there's a lot of fire going around, she will pull out her silver wand and she will say in Enochian, I guess she will say calm towards the fire to kind of quell it and temper it and not make it spread and go crazy to help what Bellic is doing. So, I'm guessing it's because we're in a reality zone, it would be coincidental? Or would it be vulgar?
Well, I mean, it is speaking. Nobody will really notice, so it is coincidental still.
Okay, sounds good. So, and can I roll her charisma and Enochian to kind of help reduce the diff?
Sure.
Okay. So I believe that's 2 plus 3, so I'll first roll 5 dice. Success, so that'll reduce the diff by 1, so my diff goes down to 4. And I'll spend a willpower. So 2 successes.
Speaking in Enochian to the fire spirits, and they look slightly confused to hear me speak like that.
It's not necessarily she's speaking to the fire. It's almost like she's more speaking to herself than anything.
Okay.
The Enochian is just to help her focus her intent, less so than to command the fire.
Okay. The fire does seem to stay still pretty contained. Like it tightens up a bit.
And you kind of look toward Bosco and give him a nod.
You mean Bellic?
Did I say Bellic?
You said Bosco.
Oh.
You're gonna make Tiger cry now. He loved that for all.
I did love that girl.
As I say, Ishar is just kind of, picking up important scrolls and throwing them outside and making sure that all of his, he's basically trying to get his most valuable possessions. I'm going to have to roll short.
Actually, the difficulty
Tiger, sorry, I have to ask, because I know my memory will eventually fade whenever else have you. I have to roll willpower so I don't try to murder Arbane, don't I?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
God dang. And let me know, Tiger, if I need to roll any more rolls to kind of make the fire calm down and quench it even more in the material world.
Nathan pulls out his coat or pulls off his coat and starts just trying to put out the fire.
What is the difficulty on a short fuse roll? I don't actually know.
Hey, I forgot. She actually gets a -2 because of the one she's using. So it would have been 3. Cool. Okay, never mind.
Aha.
Maybe turn on the nice light. I'll make your head.
It is difficulty 6.
Do I only need 1 success, or do I need multiple, or
It just says you must make a willpower roll of 6 or else deal with that shit. Gloves off style. That's what it says.
Oh, hang on. I need to put a space between the dice and the... Yeah.
What have you done?
There we go. Hey. He has 3 successes, so he's not in a murderous rage.
That's good.
This is a good thing. So she'll kind of move around, like, you know, keeping the effect active and like kind of making sure that Ishara is safe and he'll be okay.
At what point does the tree stop growing?
I'm thinking. Let's see. Okay. I kind of want to do anything, but I don't also want to not do anything. When it reaches the edge of the like your
Ward?
yeah, it won't go outside the ward. It will stay within the ward. I can speak. I promise. It'll stay within the ward. So that's when it stops.
Oh, mother of God. Okay. So this tree, basically all that's preventing the consensus from shitting a brick because this tree exists is the fact that no one can perceive it. I accept this. This is good.
Fucking changelings.
Yep.
I mean, hey, you're the one that accepted a gift from a fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of got a point.
When it is done, and, you know, assuming we manage to get to you know, stop my... I mean, question, Tiger, because you're the ST and whatever else have you. I mean, how much of my tent is destroyed via fire?
Well, I mean, not a whole lot of it is destroyed. We will probably need Dex Athletics rolls from everybody who went back into the tent, though, to see if they get hit by the tree.
Lovely. All right. Please, Hannah, please.
What's the diff?
Standard.
God damn it, Hannah. All right, I'm spending a willpower.
4 successes.
All right.
You have 1 success with your willpower.
Yeah, no, 2 successes.
It didn't. Oh, it didn't. It didn't discount. Oh, yeah, it does. Sorry, the 1 is not. Is separate. My apologies.
Yeah, the 1 is the success, not the yeah. So yeah, I got 2 successes.
All right. So everybody who got at least 1 success manages to not get wrecked by the tree.
Ishara is going to sit with his back to the tree, looking rather glum.
Dodging and getting away from the tree, breaking and nearly killing or hurting people. She'll kind of go up to Ashar and say, "You okay?"
He's pretty angry with rage right about now. He will stand up. He will brush down his clothing, and he will walk up to Nathan. He will bow very respectfully, and he will ask very politely, Nathan. Or sorry, he will call you Mr. Nathan. Mr. Nathan. Okay. Are you there, Tiger?
Yes, I'm waiting for you to finish.
Oh no, he rather noticeably left a pause there to be acknowledged.
Nathan will look at him. Can I offer you a coin in this trying time that will not grow to a giant size and destroy all you hold dear?
A coin, you said? Did you offer him money for the destruction of all he loved?
He offered specifically a coin. And he will hold up the coin so that you can inspect.
What does the coin look like?
It looks like just a blank gold coin.
Ishar will say,
Let's continue on, Evan.
Keep on doing what you were saying.
Ishar will shake his head, and he will say, no, thank you. I do not wish your coin. Thank you for the offer, however.
He'll put it away into his pocket.
What I would like, however, is for you to please take your friend, thank him for his gift, and leave. Thank you.
That is fair. I apologize for the trouble.
It is fine.
Just going to go over to Arbane, say, Ishar thanks you for your gift, but we should go. We should go right now.
Oh no, he already left. He left.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
He just dipped. Wow.
No, he gave his gift and he left. It's not his fault what happens from there, at least the way he looks at it.
It just kind of looks and is like, it appears my friend has left already.
I see. That is disconcerting. However, once again, when you see him, please thank him for his gift. I hope you have a good evening, Mr. Nathan.
I hope yours gets better.
I hope so too.
And he doesn't mean it like it. He doesn't mean it like he clearly doesn't mean it in an insulting or like asshole-ish way. He genuinely hopes.
He will nod. He will say, I thank you very much for your time. You have been a pleasant guest. I would like it to be known that you are always welcome to come again.
I will make a note of your specific wording.
Thank you. Nathan, he appears outwardly calm. Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone who is literally restraining homicidal rage?
I have. It's scary.
Yeah, yes, I have.
Yes. Yes.
Point of order. Is the fire out?
Yes.
Yes. Basically, whenever the tent collapsed, it just kind of sucked into the flame.
Okay. All right. Then Bellic will stop singing at this point.
Yeah, and Hannah will chill out with her concentration or wand being out.
And
Okay.
will turn to his host and will say, I hope that the gift of my song is adequate.
Once again, he will turn, be completely outwardly calm, and will say, thank you, Mr. Bellic. It was an excellent song. I have not heard Tibetan throat singing in a very long time. It is such a soothing melody.
Is there anything you require? May I assist you in any way?
You can ask me of the same. I quite. She'll just smile. She'll just stop talking. You know.
Weird
Place your
question. Obviously, the mortals cannot see this tree, but because it was made with an unleashing and whatever else, is it supernaturally big?
I would assume so.
It was supposed to be just a regular small tree. It is now an ancient giant perfect tree.
At which point, Ishar kind of looks upwards and contemplates, and he says, I think I know where I will pitch my next tent.
What did he say? You broke up really bad.
He said he knows where he's gonna pitch his tent.
He might be going to pitch it right up in the tree, because that sounds epic.
That does sound pretty awesome.
That would be fantastic.
And it could probably help you with forces effects and whatnot to get it up there.
Tiny tree houses for the
Yeah,
win.
like, I was gonna legit say, you can make a tree house out of this giant thing. And be better off than you are in the tent on the ground.
I'm not gonna. Hey! I'm not gonna lie, Tiger. Doesn't Tiny Treehouse sound like it should literally be a children's TV show?
This.
Bro.
Alright. I tell you what, guys, let's end it there, because I was trying to end it a little while ago. So, thank you, players, for doing the player thing. Thank you, watchers, for doing the watcher thing. Apparently, when you have people around your house, people fucking bulldoze your house. I'm only fucking with you. Alright, have a good one, people. Cheery bye.